What's up, guys? You're listening to To Transcend, a podcast that inspires individuals to go beyond their limits. Our names are Kevin Tran
and Jimmy Tran. On this show, we sit down and converse with others and ourselves about the journey we're on and the lessons we've learned along the way. What's up, guys? Jimmy from To Transcend. Welcome to episode 2. The instrumental you just heard is from Rhythmatical Beats. Make sure you go check him out. We'll link all his socials down below. So in this episode, me and Kevin are going to dive deeper in exactly what we're trying to do. In the first episode, our intro, we dived into who we are as people, what we're trying to do, the path we're on. But now, this is where we diverge a little. Me and Kevin have minor differences here and there. We're trying to essentially achieve the same thing, but we're going about it at very different paths. So you guys will hear that in this episode, and we hope you guys enjoy.
Welcome back to
Episode 2.
episode 2. First episode was good. I felt like we had a good introduction of letting the people know who we are.
Yeah.
So, man, maybe this episode, let's talk about what we're trying to do now with our lives, So, let's go with you first this time. What are you trying to do now that you have your full-time job, right? Working as a mechanical engineer for, you said government?
Like defense contractor.
Or defense contractor? Yeah. So, how long have you been working as a defense contractor or with a defense contractor?
A little over a year and a half.
A year and a half?
Yeah.
All right. That's a pretty good amount of time. So
Yeah.
how do you feel, I guess, during that year and a half and now? Like, what are you wanting to do? Are you wanting to stay in there? Are you wanting to climb the corporate ladder?
So I think, I came up here to move up, and I lived with you, I guess, for that job.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think I made it known that, like, that first month, I was like, I don't know if this is really it, So I think that's when, I guess, like, I started diving into, like, okay, what can I do? Like, what are the other things I can, like, dive into, maybe try to figure out. So for me, that's probably, like, involving.
What did you try out? Like,
What did I try?
So I guess when did you realize that wasn't it for you? Like, as soon as, like, before even starting the job?
Probably because I interned a couple places, So I already didn't super, like.
Okay, wasn't like
I
really
wasn't in
feeling it?
love with, like, the corporate culture.
Okay.
Like, I didn't walk out feeling like, oh, I'm an engineer, like, all, like, I guess, proud to be an engineer. You know what I mean?
Damn, just thinking about, like, 'cause so when you graduated, how did you feel?
Just feel like another, like, check mark.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, and you weren't, like, super proud of it or anything?
I guess I was super proud of it, but
It wasn't, like, a big deal to you?
I think I was more so proud of the idea of, like, graduating. I'm the only child. I'm graduating. My parents can graduate.
Mm-hmm.
In that sense. Like, yeah, school is pretty hard, and engineering school is pretty damn hard, like, I'm not going to lie. So not to say the engineering can't be a fulfilling career, it just wasn't. To me, at least now, like, I don't see it becoming a fulfilling career.
For you?
For
right?
me, at least.
Yeah.
Okay,
so getting into it, you already had this kind of thought in your head where this isn't going to be forever, right? Like, you're trying to find something else. So what else are you doing? Working 9 to 5. Are you doing things like after work?
So, I guess I'm trying to still dabble into, like, visual creation. What I exactly want to do is, I guess, somehow be a part of, like, kind of like the streetwear culture, whether it's, like, their sneakers or clothes. I kind of hate this word, but almost, like, be, like, an influencer in that sense. I just feel like there's, like, a stigma with that word now. That's why I say I'm not a big fan of that word.
Yeah. I guess in your terms, like, what influencer, like, in what way? Like, because, there's people that are, like, just, like,
So maybe not influencer. But I don't want to be involved
in the culture
in
and
that.
be kind of like someone who is like an expertise in there, or what?
Maybe not expertise, but just like, it's like, you know, like some people, like they work in like the medical industry and they feel like that's my calling. Like doctors are like, this 8 years of medical school, that's my calling. I kind of feel this way about like streetwear, and just anything in regards to that. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess what are you wanting to do as part of the streetwear culture? Because there's people that are like, I guess, buy stuff, review stuff, right? And then there's people that talk about their opinions on music, but you say specifically streetwear. You know, I feel like hip hop has a lot to do with that. Hip hop, rap.
So I guess I could see myself one of two things, maybe even both. I would love to like review shit, or like just like be able to
give your 2 cents on things.
Give my 2 cents on things. Like if Jordan Brand or Nike's come out with the next hot thing, I would love to have like early access to it, review it, and just kind of show people, you know, like what's there to offer, you know. The other thing, like you said, I would love to make music videos eventually, like on a bigger scale. Like I've done some pretty small ones, you know, like with the same guy.
Did. Was that your first time? Was during your like the past year and a half?
No, I did it in high school, bro.
Oh, you did it in high school?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I didn't know.
So that's why like I always knew it was there.
Yeah.
You know, like it wasn't like, oh, Cole Bennett popped off, that's what I want to do, that looks cool. Like I shot a music video in high school, just, you know,
whatever you
went
had,
to college, right? And
so it seems like in high school, to me anyways, you were a lot more yourself. If that makes sense. Like, you know,
I agree with
like
that.
you just like you didn't really like have to worry about, you know, making someone else proud or like following the status quo.
I mean, I probably was, right? I think everyone's worried about making someone proud, or like even with the status quo, like I was in high school,
extent,
you know?
Yeah, you were in high school though.
But I was probably still trying to like fit in with the like high school kids, or like find my crowd. So like that could be like a smaller scale status quo.
I guess to that in that sense, yes. But like I felt like it was more of like you put yourself kind of in groups and stuff where you felt like you fit in. You know, to an extent. And in a way it did shape who you are today. But you were like enjoying it and having fun with it, right? And then in college, it's like you're following this curriculum, you know, and once
more strict. Yeah.
And you had to put everything else on the back burner because you were like trying to make it through college, you know, and do good and graduate and get your degree. And so now that you're like back out of it, you got your 9 to 5. Do you feel like your 9 to 5 is taking up a lot of your energy, and you're like so, do you feel like you can still pursue those things outside of your 9 to 5?
So like you're asking like, can I do the 9 to 5 and still pursue it?
Yeah, like because you said you're dabbling in things, right?
So I think of course you can, right? I think the short answer is yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's 24 hours in a day. Like of course you can like still work your 9 to 5 and then dabble in other things. I think this is where like I think personal experience just comes into play. I was kind of talking to Leilani about it like a little bit, just I guess this past week, you know, just trying to figure it out. Yeah. But I think for me it kind of comes into like, and she put it into a really good perspective I never thought of, or I probably did think of, I just never like talked about,
or like kind of let it somber for a bit and really like sit back and think about it. What was it?
So for me, bro, I think it's really like, you know, I saw what my parents go through. They didn't hit retirement, so I guess I don't view life as long as most people would. You know, like I don't look at life and I go like, I'm trying to set up for the future. Like when someone asks me, do you want to set something up for your kids past them? Well, of course I do. Yeah. You know what I mean? But a part of me has also been through an experience where I'm like,
but dude, you're not even married yet or engaged, you know, to start thinking about kids.
I know, but like someone has asked me that before. Okay. Yeah. You know, they're like, aren't you worried about like setting up like setting your kids up financially, like, you know, like how your parents were able to set you up.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, but like there's also like this experience that I've been through where like I honestly don't know how long I'm gonna live, bro. And like from what I
feel like everyone should live with that perspective, not just because of like the experience that you went through, why you should live with it like that, but I feel like everyone should live like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's why you need to do the shit you want to do now. And yes, there are extremes and there are ways to go about it. And now I'm starting to see where your perspective is, right? And like how you feel about these things, because I know you lost both your parents, you know, at a young age, just recently, you know, and you're only what, like 23? 24, you know, and you lost both your parents and you're an only child, you know, you don't have like a sibling to kind of like cope with, you know. And I've never had a loss like to that extent, to where like that close to me, to where it affected me like that, you know. I've lost grandparents and stuff like that, but I was just like it's not someone that I'm like directly, you know, like involved with day to day, a part of my life. So yeah, and I'm sorry you had to go through that, but you know, the way you like cope with it and stuff, and the way you're carrying yourself now, like I don't know how much you hold inside, but I just think you're strong as fuck, cuz, you know.
Thanks, yeah.
And like to even just reflect back on it, and then Lalani giving you that perspective, and you not like kind of like flipping out or anything, and just like realizing it. And yeah, dude, that makes hella sense, you know.
Yeah.
As to why you're like not like, oh, I'll just, you know, keep working my 9 to 5 and do that other thing, because you're right. You only, after your 9 to 5, not only are you mentally drained, but like you only have really 2-3 hours, right? Because you gotta eat, you gotta sleep, you gotta stay healthy, you know, do whatever you need to do to be active. And so now I see why you were leading into the way of like, like leaving your 9 to 5, like jumping and just going all in on whatever you enjoy doing. So that makes a lot of sense, man. I didn't think about it that way, because like in my world, I'm trying to do my 9 to 5 and then my other things on the side, you know, but it's going to take longer than someone who has all day to work on it, right? Like I'm only doing 3 hours a day while they can do like 8 or 9 hours. So that's, they're going to, if they're doing the same kind of work I'm doing or whatever, they're going to get there 3 times faster than I would.
Not necessarily, you know what I mean?
You know? Well, I'm talking about if it's the same, like if it's me, let's say it's just both of me, right? Like there's 2 of me doing the same path. Like everything's the same, but one person is able to do 9 hours more, or 9 hours total, and this person's only doing 3 hours, right? So if you think about it over time, this person's gonna get to their goals and stuff sooner, versus this other person who's doing it 3 hours at a time.
Or like, so I guess I somewhat agree with that. I think everything you said is perfect. I guess my only thing with that is like, even now, right, or like, there's no guarantee that I'll like fucking be able to like do what I want to do for sure.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But I guess like I said, like it all, like I feel like a lot of like my life experience now, or how I perceive life, does go back to like the past 2-3 years of what I had to deal with, right? So for me, it's like the idea of like, you know, like I feel like you kind of hear this all the time, where it's just like, man, fuck it, like if I fail, I fail, you know, like at least I just gave it a fucking shot.
Yeah, it's just, the thing is like living with regret, you know. At least you can say you tried it, right? But then let's say you never tried it, and then you'll never know. Yeah. Right.
But it's not like, so I guess that's not to also say that like the people like yourself, right, that are still doing the 9 to 5 and then doing it on the side, like as a side hustle, like you're still doing it too.
Yeah.
You know, like
that's not to discredit me or like put me lower than you, right? We're not comparing by no means. Like it's just a different path, and like I'm just saying what basically, like from your perspective, you know, like seeing that life is short, that I should go all in and put as much time as I can into my other thing, and the only way like to do it is, you know, how to get more time when your 8 hours of your day is spent for someone else, basically, you know. And so what that perspective was. But for me anyways, like I have like bills to pay and stuff, you know, and then financially, like I need to work my 9 to 5 because if I don't and like that shit fails, that's like selfish of me, right? Like
no, yeah, like you have like
I have my wife, you know, like a home and stuff, and like so it's kind of that ship has sailed for me, you know, in a way, but like so now I'm trying to basically I'm hopping on another ship and trying to navigate that, and it's because I think to me I kind of realized it a little later, but I think that's just life, you know? So, I don't know, it's just crazy. There's just so many paths you can take in life, you know? And there's no right or wrong way. There's just your way. Yeah. I feel like. So whatever works for you. But damn, dude, that's interesting, man. I never thought of it like that. Now, like, now that you said that, or Lonnie said that, I'm putting myself in your shoes, and it's like, fuck, dude. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's probably, like, a driving factor for, I guess, how I take most things in life. Like, and I think that's the constant struggle, right? Where it's like, I've heard someone like divide up the brain to like the thinking brain and the feeling brain. You know, the thinking brain is like all logical. You know, the feeling brain is like everything you've experienced in life, and it kind of like, you know, it's constantly molding. So clearly, like my thinking brain is like, why the fuck would you do what you're trying to do? You know, like why not even just try to do it side by side? Yeah, but my feeling brain is like, bro, the shit you've been through, like, you know, like I'll be honest, like every time I get in the car, bro, I think I'm like, there's a chance I might die in this car ride.
It is, and that's true. And just from my experience, always follow your gut. That's I would say is your feeling brain, you know. That gut feeling, it's for some reason, it just it's different, right? Like it doesn't think logically, because logically you could be wrong, you know. Logically you're thinking the safest route.
Well, logically you're probably not wrong, you know what I mean? You know, you're probably like right in the safest way possible.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like in the safest way possible. Like it's thinking safe, right? But like life is not, there's not a blueprint for life, you know. Like there's just it's life. Like it's I think it's
abstract.
Yeah, it's very abstract and like can go in so many different ways. And people do end up in the same place, but their path was way different than someone else that ended up there too. Yeah. And so I just feel like with that being said, you know, your gut is doing like what I think your heart, like you've been through, like it's just a gut feeling, right? Like that's why people say that. And I honestly think following with your gut is a good, but I feel like you have to be smart about it in a way, right? Because your gut, like, okay, for example, here, this is why I think your gut would never lie to you. Like you're standing on the edge of a cliff, right? With no parachute, no anything. Like your gut, for me anyways, okay, I don't know, maybe someone else's gut is just fucking crazy gung-ho, you know, but I think that's their mind. But my gut would be like, my stomach would drop. It'd be like fucking back the fuck up, you know, like what the fuck are you doing? Or I might even pass out, you know, and I just like
people
lay
probably
there.
Would.
Yeah, and like that's just, I feel like that's like my stomach, like I feel the insides of me like just like squelching up and stuff, and like so I take that, and like with business, like bro, like for me, share tea, right? Like I didn't even have like any other finances, or knowledge that, I mean, I knew a little bit about, you know, that, but like business and stuff, but like finances and stuff, like, so it's a big risk for me, right? Like I would have to pull a loan out, and like I'd have to make sure it does well and stuff, but my mind was like, dude, you just started your job. You know?
That was your thinking brain, bro. Like,
yeah,
what
exactly.
are you doing, bro? Just enjoy your job. Like,
yeah, they're like, you just started your job.
You guys are
getting
in this
paid
house
well.
now.
Yeah, and like you got this house to pay for. Like, why are you thinking about going into a business, you know? And then, but my gut was like, dude, like it's just like, this is what I've always wanted to do. And then like it's like just what would happen if I did it? And I feel like, you know, tie into it, like that's why a lot of people don't go after the thing. It's because of their thinking mind. versus their feeling mind. But like I said, you got to be smart about it. You can't just be like,
just jump the gun.
Well, depending on your situation, like I said, my situation is different than yours, right? Like I can't just leave my 9 to 5, and not have any kind of income. Yeah. So for me, I have to do the side thing, and grind it out because I've made commitments already to my wife, and my family. And so it'd be selfish of me because I made those choices.
You're a man of your word too. So I don't expect you to just be selfish, drop
like,
everything.
Can you imagine like you have a family, 2 kids and a wife, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm gonna quit my 9 to 5. I don't like it anymore. I'm gonna go to streetwear. Like I wanna fucking talk about shoes and clothes and stuff. Like how?
That's very
selfish. Why did you get married? Right? Why did you have kids? Like
see, so like I guess that's interesting that you say that. It's like everything, like how you're yesterday, like you kind of asked me like have I thought about marriage and stuff, like and I think it kind of ties all back into that. Like I feel like right now, like what I want to do is just so selfish, where like
where you can't think about those things. No, and like I wouldn't,
and I'm lucky enough to have found a partner that understands that. Because she was trying to like ramp it up. I'm like, I don't,
or like settle down, right? Like it might not work out. But like that's what I'm saying. And so you're consciously knowing what you're wanting to do, at least for now. So you're saying, hey, like marriage and stuff, like I don't want to do that because I'm still wanting to do certain things, and it's not right for me to commit to you and then go off and do my own thing. Like I don't feel that's right. So that's very, very smart of you.
I mean, and it's kind of like the idea of like having kids, you know what I mean? Like,
dude, then that's exactly why everyone's like, oh, when are you gonna have a kid? Like that's the next step, right?
I can't be a selfish parent.
I'm like, nah, like you don't understand. Like I can't have a kid. What do you mean? I'm like, nah, like there's still a lot of things I want to do. They're like, oh, people have kids and do things all the time. I was like, nah, I don't want to be that parent where I'm not home all the, like I don't have time to spend with my kids. See,
and that's like your gut telling you, like, you just know.
So then like I'm like, I just laugh it off, because then like I don't want to go through this hour of explaining to them, like my thought process of it all. That's why we started this pod, so I can talk about it. Like this is really like therapy for me, because I mean I do talk to my wife a lot about this stuff, but I think she can only handle so much. At a certain time she's just like,
that's understandable. Like everyone has their capacity. But I guess maybe I'll wrap myself up real quick, and we can switch over to you. Man. So, like feeling brain, thinking brain. Like I feel like most people would say like, oh, I guess you and people that know me really well, like I'm a pretty calculated person. Like I like I know when I say that it sounds very like jump the gun, like whoa, like, but like I've had this constant battle between thinking brain, feeling brain, gut feeling, like
that's what, because your thinking brain I feel like you hold back so much, versus taking risks. Like you're scared.
No, honestly, the thinking brain's like, I don't know about all this, man. But and I guess that's what I kind of mean when I say like, shit, I don't know exactly, but when I say like, I feel like maybe the universe is like just conspiring. Like maybe it's just like my gut, it just feels closer. Like I don't know how to really explain my gut or my feeling brain. Like
for me, that you're talking about the universe conspiring, and I think it's just everything that you do, right? So people say that, and as cliche as it sounds, it does make sense because, like, for example, when you say the universe is conspiring with you, like it's like, oh man, everything's working like to help me towards this path, right, that you're going on. And it's because you put yourself in this position all the time to kind of guide you there, right? Like you're surrounding yourself with people that are in that
same realm.
Yeah, the same realm, the same expertise and stuff, that culture. You're consuming content that's in that culture or whatever it may be. And I think that's why like the universe conspires, right? So it literally is taking the right steps in the right direction, surrounding yourself with the right people, consuming the proper content that you need to be consuming, and then
trying to work towards doing
that every day. Yes, the universe, because it feels like your world is filled with that. So Yeah, I mean, I like it as a way of like thinking kind of bigger picture. But like if you break it down to the little details,
it falls into everything you said. I guess the last thing I should say, I guess for myself is I feel like the universe conspires. It almost sounds like too positive. You know, like I feel like I should also make the note that still like I feel okay with trying to do all this. You know, I've thought about it. You know, like I've had that battle where it's just like sounds very positive, but shit. At the end of the day, like this shit might not work out, and I might just have to go back to using my degree or like maybe never using it and just trying to figure something else. You know, like I don't think the world like always works out for you. You know, but I don't know. I guess
for me, I
mean, think if you conspire to, like, if you work towards it, I think the world does want to work in your favor.
Yeah. That's hard. That's tough to say. I feel like you just have to do it, you know, to see. Because, like, just because you fall one time doesn't mean it's over. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work once. Doesn't mean it's over. Like, that's why there's that saying, like, fall down 7, get up 8.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
And so, like, yeah, it's good to have that kind of mindset. But you also need to have, like don't give up.
Yeah.
You know? You got to persevere.
It's like a balance of both.
Yeah. Like, I mean, to understand, yes, but, like, at least try your best. Like, give it your all. Yeah. Like, and then keep on keeping, you know? Yeah. And if it doesn't work out, yeah, like, do something else, you know? But, like still within the same realm, but it's something else, you know? Like, or a different route. Like, try something different, you know? And that's kind of my mindset anyways. Like, I feel like if you want something bad enough, you can make it work.
Yeah.
Like, bad, and like if it's your last breath of air, you're gonna do everything in your fucking power to find that last breath of air. But yeah, let's take a little break and then we can start talking about what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Yeah, welcome back. Just got done talking about Jimmy and where he's at, where his mindset is at right now in life, and what he's gonna do, what he's wanting to do. Yeah, now on to me. So my path, my current state of mind is somewhat similar to yours. I would say I'm like a little maybe further down the path than you are. But so I got my 9 to 5, and I actually had a lot of fun, you know, on my first job. I jumped onto like a consulting agency, and then I was put onto a client, Pier 1 Imports, you know, in downtown Fort Worth. And so they got this like office building on the bank of the river, and it overlooks like West 7th and stuff. And it's gorgeous. But the best part of it was the team that I worked with. And I feel like when you work, like working with your friends, like you can do anything, you know, no matter what the work is, you'll have fun.
It's like the energy.
Yeah, it's just that energy. And so like, that's what was happening there. I was put onto this team that was like somewhat young, but like had like a kind of a new mindset and fresh, and like, it was a lot of fun, but we got a lot of fucking work done, you know? And so I was super grateful, you know, I was super blessed to have that as my first job. And then people started moving. So there's members of the team that like got new jobs and stuff. And then I found out, I mean, I hate to say this, but I found out like one of my coworkers got a job, and it was like
making bank.
Yeah, it was like making bank. And I was like, fuck, you know, I was like, let's see, you know. So I started interviewing, and then they offered me a job, and the amount they were paying me, I was just like, for real? I was like,
it was one of those like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, cause I mean, I'm gonna be honest, right? One of my goals when I was in college was like to make 6 figures.
There's nothing wrong with that goal either. You know, I feel like that's a pretty normal and like a good goal to have.
Like I guess so. The way it sounds is bad, right? Not necessarily bad, but it just sounds like greedy, right? Like what what is the reasoning behind that, you know?
Yeah.
And for me, I felt like 6 figures would be enough income for me to live my life, right? And then, so that was what I was aiming for. And hindsight, you know, looking back at it, to want money, it's a good thing, but it's not.
It shouldn't be the driving factor.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like, money isn't the driving factor. The driving factor is to be able to enjoy the freedom and time that money gives you, right? And so I've learned about this recently, like after that fact, right? Like I didn't know that was what I was wanting money for.
Yeah.
And so I guess living life on my own terms, like that's why I wanted to make that kind of money. And so anyways, like, so my second job, you know, like they offered me 6 figures.
Yeah.
Right. And I was just like, what the fuck? You know, I was like, dude, this is it. So I jumped ship.
And you were 24, 25, huh?
Yeah.
You were young, like you were my age.
I was like 20, you know? Yeah, 23, 24.
So that's pretty, like if people, like I said, outside looking in, that's pretty fucking goddamn successful, man.
Yeah. And so like, you know, so first weekend I get that job and like I leave the team that I was super happy with. And then I was beyond ecstatic, right? Like I started the job, I was like, damn, you know, I felt like, I was like, dude.
They flew you out to Seattle, huh?
Yeah, they flew, the office was in Seattle, but I was 100% remote. So like, not only like was I getting paid 6 figures, but they were letting me work from home, you know? And I was just like, bro, am I fucking dreaming right now, you know? I was like, no way. So I was excited, dude. And then I went and started that job, got training for a week, and then I came back home, and I started my job. So then started working from home, you know, set up this whole office space, and it was lonely at times, you know, because you don't get surrounded by those humans and stuff. But I really enjoyed being able to do like things around the house and stuff, and still be able to get my work done.
So kind of having like your own time in a sense.
Yeah, so essentially getting paid figures and then would be able to live life a little more on my own terms, right? So then like I started having like a lot of time to myself and stuff. So I started listening to like podcasts and music. And you know, I usually just was only listening to music when I worked out. And I guess the thing that kind of sparked it was like listening to Russ, and then I stumbled upon like this podcast, like live every day like it's Friday, Saturday. Or every day is Saturday. Yeah, because Saturday, you know, you don't have work that day, and tomorrow you don't have work. So it's like live every day, or every day is Saturday. That was the podcast name, I believe. And then I started listening to that, and I was like, man, it started making me realize that I really wanted to live life on my own terms, you know. And I didn't want to live Monday through Friday hating my life, and then only live Saturday and Sunday, right? Because there's 7 days in a week, and if you're only living for the weekend, that means you're really only living life 2 to 3 days a week, right? So like Monday through Thursday is like a waste of time, and bro, like that's the majority of your life.
And I'll say I think that's because like you yourself, like you probably pictured something even more for yourself, you know. Like I feel like it's not to say like to all our listeners that do work that Monday through Friday, like I don't think that means those people are like wasting their time or they're miserable, you know. I just think
because they can enjoy that, right?
I think you yourself, you were wanting something more, and that's
more
why
out of life.
That 9 to 5 Monday through Friday just seemed like just not as fulfilling. Yeah,
and it wasn't, I mean, somewhat life on my own terms, right? Because I made these choices, but like not on someone else's time, right? And so don't get me wrong, like I enjoy solving problems, right? And that's what I do with work, really. Like as a software developer, the client or whomever I'm working for has a problem and they ask me to fix it with software, or like, you know, solve it with software and coding. And so like that's fun for me. Like I mean, you can hear me, you know, in meetings and stuff. Like I really enjoy solving problems. Like I like getting down low to the ground, digging in the dirt and just finding that solution.
Man, it sounds like a bar or something.
Huh?
Like a rap lyric or something.
Hey, I did try to be a rapper back then, but that's for another time. Anyways, so with that being said, I started listening to those podcasts. I stumbled upon Gary Vee, and then I think watching and listening to Gary Vee about doing what you love, and then listening to this rapper Russ. He was like a SoundCloud rapper at the time, but he was like dropping music every week, right? And then he had this song that came out, and it was like, fuck it, do it myself. Right? It was called Do It Myself by Russ. And dude, that song, music really influences me. Like, I don't know what it is, but I really pay attention to the lyrics, and it just like
that's right for like a lot of people too, like in different ways.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah,
in another episode too. But like real quick, so like I heard that and I was like, man, like fuck it, dude, I'm gonna fucking do it myself. It's as funny as that sounds. That's really what happened, right? So then I started pursuing this sort of mindset of like, man, doing things myself. Like I'm gonna get out of this, and I'm gonna like live life on my own terms. One way or another. Yeah. So then that summer, I think we traveled to Europe. I decided to pick up my camera. We traveled to Europe with another couple, some of my good friends, Eugene and Tran, and who are now my business partners.
Yeah.
So then we got on that trip, and we were just like talking about those things, like about like doing business, and like living the good life. And so I was like, man, I'm there. Like that's what I want to do. So I brought my camera because I wanted to create like a travel video. And I ended up doing that, and I was like super happy, dude. Like I was so excited to do that. I thought I found like this newfound dream, and
I feel like you kind of did, huh?
Yeah, I did because then after that trip, after that video, we came back. We actually had dinner with that couple, like my friends, and she was like, I really want to do this. Tran was like, I'm thinking about opening up a boba shop.
Yeah.
And then I was like, for real? I was like, how much? So then like she did a lot of the research, and she's like, but I want a partner because
it would help offset.
Yeah, because they still wanted to keep their 9-to-5 jobs because they still had like a lot of things, that commitments and
responsibilities.
Stuff. Yeah, and same with me. So I was like, I thought about it. I was like, man, but I ain't got I don't have the money right now. They're like, well, like get a loan, borrow money. And then I was like, okay, maybe I can do that, And then I never put a loan out before, so then went and spoke to my parents, and then my parents like helped me out with giving me a loan. But long story short, we ended up starting up that business. Yeah. So that was the first step towards living life on my own terms. But everyone kept their 9-to-5 jobs. Yeah. And so now like that business has been running for like 3 years, almost 3 years. Almost 3 years now. We're going on into our third year now. And then I'm still at my 9-to-5 job, and I was still doing the video stuff on the side. And I felt like that was my calling because I don't know, I love telling stories. Yeah. Right. And
you're like to me, you're like one of, like whenever you and Kelly recreate the hiking story, bro, like you're always like the most visual with it. Yeah. So I think that applies to like just who you are as a person, like how you tell stories, and then what you bring to like the creative side.
And like it's the reason why I love telling stories is because it makes people realize things about themselves that they didn't know. Whether it be a movie, that has nothing to do with them. Like let's say they just watched a film or like a video and it made them realize something about themselves, right? Or I like making videos and telling people stories because they're like, oh, my life is interesting, my life is worth something. I am unique, I am successful. I am, whatever it may be. But like, I've noticed that like when I talk to people, like I always like,
you want to bring the best.
Yeah, the best out of people. That's why like in my profile, like I'm just like bringing the best out of you. Yeah. Like that's my bio, on Instagram, and like that's what I want to do. Like humans are beautiful. Humans are interesting. Everybody's life is worth. you know? And so like this, I feel like this is my kind of way of being able to do that, you know? And whoever I cross paths with and whatnot, like I always, if they're wanting to sit down, they're needing to sit down and talk, or they want to talk to me, like I go deep, you know, and I try to find out like what you're great at and stuff. And like, because I want you to realize that. Yeah.
Like you're willing to do more than just like the water cooler talk. Like, oh, did you watch the game last night? Like,
like
how's the weather?
Small talk. Not that I hate it. It's good enough, but I do it sometimes, but I do it with intent. Like I really do want to know how you're doing. You know, like I don't want to just say, oh, how are you doing? I'm doing good. Good. Like, oh, what's been good? You know? And so like, that's what I try to do. Sometimes I do just do small talk. And then one thing I started doing is like, anytime like someone crosses my mind, I reach out to them, just because they crossed I felt like
it's in your gut.
Yeah. Like it happened for a reason. Right. So that's really what I'm doing. So now I'm like, doing video, started Transcenders, you know, and that was kind of like, the universe conspiring with me, right? Because like I started getting to the video space. I found out a couple other friends that were into the video space as well, the creative space, and we ended up going on a trip together. Yeah. And then we're like, man, like let's start doing this. Let's make this like a thing, right? And so we started Transcenders, and then like we dabbled into everything. Yeah. Everything creative. Photo and video. Yeah, like weddings. Yeah, weddings, small business, commercial, short films.
Like personal stuff.
Yeah, like photos.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Travel, like just everything. Yeah. And then like that's really where my excitement is right now, like in life. Aside from family, you know, like family's first, and then like I get to go do that, you know. So I really have like the luxury of being able to still work my 9 to 5 and go do that. And like it's been a blessing, man. And although I do want to end up doing that full time, I think it's more so of just living life on my own terms.
So that's your main like living life,
like whatever it may be. But I mean, I know that's part of my calling. Like I know, but like the bigger picture is living life on my own terms. So that's why I started a business. I'm starting a second business. I want to get into rental property, real estate, just kind of like having multiple streams of revenue, of income, because you, like you said, right, you don't know when things are going to work out and when things won't, you know? So like it's always good to have
a lot of things going.
Yeah, to diversify your portfolio and stuff. That way you don't have to worry about that. So that's currently where I'm at, you know, in my life.
I mean, and I feel like after hearing that, you know, like to all the viewers and everyone, like, I mean, you know, you're doing Share Tea, another business that's about to pop off. Yeah. You're doing Transcenders, you know, which is that kind of like creative side of you. You're doing like real estate. You want to get into rental properties, and this is all on top of your 9 to 5. And so, I feel like it's interesting hearing that, because then it's like
it's different from what you're trying to do.
So clearly, like to everyone, like you don't need to quit your 9 to 5 to pursue what you want to do or to live life on your own terms. Yeah. But I think more so like, right, when you have that gut feeling that you can't really explain, or like it's just like turning inside you, because for whatever reason, like, you know, like I feel like, and that's where like maybe if that kind of falls in line of like, you know, there's just those multiple paths that people take.
Yeah. And like I said, it just because it works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you or for anyone, right? But I say go explore those things. For me anyways, like I like to go do those things. And like I said, I have responsibilities though. That's why I can't leave my 9 to 5. So I'm going to work my 9 to 5, and I'm going to do my job and get it done. And then I'm going to do all my other things on the side and figure that out. And that's what's working for me. And it keeps my family happy, and it takes care of my responsibility. And that's key to me, right? Like, as long as
happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, happy wife, happy life, right? As they would say. But like for me, that's because that's number one to me, right? Like I made that commitment, and my family comes first, you know, regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
You know, so like if me doing my side stuff was somewhat like hurting my family or like, you know, like just tearing my family apart, I'd definitely have to reevaluate it, the time or whatever it may be. But just make sure like you have your priorities straight. Yeah. You know, and like it sucks to suck, but like at the end of the day, I think you need to do what makes you happy. You know, and for me, if my family's happy, I'm happy. You know, so that's number one. I also want to do what I want to do as well, and that's number two. You know, so just finding the balance between that. And if you have a partner, a significant other that's like not allowing you to do like what makes you happy, and you know, to be honest, that's person,
something that needs to be talked about.
Yeah, no, and if they, that's what I mean. Though, like if
don't
you
just bounce on that person right away. But
no, but like you need to have that discussion. You know, and let them understand, because humans don't understand. You know, if they're like decent human being, like,
and if they're your significant other,
they gotta they would have to understand. But there's people that are like, no, like it's all about me, right? And that's you're going down a toxic path.
No, I agree.
And I hate to say it, but I don't know if that person, you know, is good for you, because they should be understanding, you know, and then at least like talk to you about it and like kind of like
understand
and balance, and balance it out, you know, because like I feel like everyone has their own life and should be happy doing it, you know, and your partner should be helping you, should complement that, enhance that, you know, but. Yeah, I guess we can wrap up this episode. Yeah, but
this was a hella good episode, man.
Yeah, some technical difficulties, but it all works out. It was good talking to you, man.
Episode 3 coming real soon.
Yep.
So what do you guys think? All in or side hustle? Let us know what you guys think, and we'll see you on the next episode.